President. So as most members know, I represent southeast and northeast Minneapolis, Cedar Riverside, and Seward neighborhoods around the University of Minnesota campus. So a lot of the people that I hear from on a daily basis are university students. I have both the University of Minnesota and Augsburg, and so I do spend a lot of time talking to students. And I also occasionally hear from their parents, and many of their parents are in districts throughout the state, not just my district, since they are both major universities. And what I am hearing about from those parents and from those students is the cost of tuition. They are concerned that they can't afford the cost of tuition, and they want to see more money into the state grant program. I am hearing about housing and the ability to find affordable housing, and then when they get into some of the larger apartment buildings, how hard it is to get a hold of management when they have concerns. And I also hear about public safety. They are concerned, parents have called me because they are concerned and are wondering, are their students safe? Are their children safe? We spent a lot of time this year talking about public safety and the need for public safety, and I keep hearing how important public safety is to this body. There are a lot of good things in the bill. I appreciate the money to increase teachers of color, but the bill has $454,000 for public safety, if I am reading the spreadsheet correct. That's not a lot of money. That'll cover maybe 10 additional officers and some security infrastructure employees. Both of those are needed, and we need the law enforcement there. We need their technology backup and staff to do the technology, but safety is more than just those officers. Those officers also need technology to back them up, and they also need help with prevention. The U of M came in with a $100 million request. That's a lot of money for public safety. The bill funds less than 0.5% of their request. And their request is some very basic things. Again, this is what I'm hearing from parents across the state, that they want their kids to be safe. And what I'm hearing from the students is they want lighting at bus stops. They want more lighting across campus so they feel safe walking to campus. If you've been there, you know, it's a large institution. To go from the West Bank to the East Bank, to take a bus to classes over in St. Paul, in the Minneapolis campus, and the St. Paul campus is large. And this $100 million funding isn't just for the Minneapolis and St. Paul campus. It's also for Duluth, it's also for Crookston, it's also for Morris. It's across the system. Students want to feel safe. They want to, classes sometimes go late, they're studying at the libraries late, they want lighting at those bus stops. They want panic buttons across campus so they can hit them. Those are some of the requests in the U of M's bill. They also ask for some additional, you know, those code blue additions, which are the panic buttons or an alert system that is both internal so that they can monitor parking buildings, they can monitor the campus. They've got money for what they call end-of-life security equipment, and that is the equipment that the manufacturer is no longer servicing, but they feel they can still, you know, use it for a few more years, and so, you know, basically they need to duct tape it together, so they're asking for additional money for that. They're asking for additional security people for in the buildings across campus. So they have police that handle the outside, and they have security officers in the buildings. They want card readers for in the building, so when you're in the library late at night, they know who is coming and going, and they can follow those. This is what students and their parents from your districts are asking. They want their kids to be safe. So with that, Mr. President, I have the A50 amendment.
Senator Dziedzic moves the A5050 amendment. The Secretary will report the amendment.
Senator Dziedzic moves to amend House File Number 3872 as follows. Page 2, line 9, delete. This is the A50 amendment.
To the A50 amendment, Senator Dziedzic.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the amendment doesn't fully fund the U of M requests because there's not $100 million in the bill to move, but it does move $1.5 million from other programs and moves it towards public safety. It takes money from the Skills Path program, and why I took the money from that is the Commissioner of Labor and Industry, Commissioner Robertson, has suggested that there are current programs already in place, and we don't really need this new program. This is a new program. It's to engage young people through career exposure and career readiness, and I think that is a very laudable goal. But we already have programs. There's the LEAP program, there's the Growing Their Youth Skills Training Program, and Expanding Dual Training Pipeline that already have money in it. It might have been easier and better rather than doing a new program to just put more money into this program. And so I take the money from that program. And then Senator Dziedzic, I apologize, but I am taking money from the Owatonna Learn to Earn program that's in the bill. I've had Learn to Earn programs in the past, and they've always been funded through the jobs program. So I'm a little confused why this money for just one Owatonna Learn to Earn coalition is in this bill when there are, I know Minneapolis has a Learn to Earn program, I believe Rochester had a Learn to Earn program, and they've always been funded through the jobs bill. So I am taking that money and moving it to add to the public safety for students across the U system. It includes lighting that they want, it would include camera, and it would include some of the items that the U listed that they need to help our students feel safe, to give the parents from your district, the security that their students are safe on U of M campus. And Mr. President, I request a roll call.
Roll call is requested. Roll call granted. Senator Rarick.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. First, I want to point to the fact that, yep, $454,000 this year. There's $4.7 million in the tails for the public safety area that the U has requested. But in the description, we heard a lot of what they're asking for is infrastructure at their buildings. And our committee believed that should be part of a bonding request, that if we're going to put money into the university, we'd prefer it going towards, grants for the students, things of that nature. We did give them some so that they can begin some of this work, but we felt it was a little more appropriate. But let's look back. When we talk about we're not getting to their request, understand that when the university came to the legislature, they were asking for nearly $1 billion in funding through higher education and through capital investment. That dwarfed what Min State was requesting. Min State didn't ask for anything in this area. Their requests in this area always come through capital investment. So with that, and also because we're taking money from other areas, trying to move it around, I would request that members vote no on this amendment.
Senator Johnson Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. President. If I'm correct, even with the $4 million in the tails, that still represents just 4% of what the university asked for. I'm looking at the university's request, and there is quite a bit in their request that is, in fact, capital investment, but there's quite a bit that relates, as my colleague Senator Dziedzic noted, simply to public safety upgrades, whether it's for full-time employees or additional security officers. I just want to add a short insight into what it's like to spend time at the University of Minnesota at any one of the 4 campuses. I have been at all 4 campuses late at night. It's scary, and I'm a older, confident woman with a car. I often worry about my students. I have taught until 9:30 every semester for the last 20 years, and oftentimes my students and I will walk to cars together. You might say, well, they have escorts on campus, which they do, but oftentimes we have to wait a half hour for one to show up. That is a true experience, and it has happened to me and my students several times. So I think the university is doing a great job. Again, I've taught at Duluth, Crookston, Morris, Rochester, and the University of Minnesota, so I think I should have said 5 campuses. And I would very much support Senator Dziedzic's small investment as indicated by her amendment, And I would encourage anybody who has a child at any one of the university campuses, a friend, or simply cares about the safety of our students to vote yes as well. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. President.
Senator Dziedzic.
Thank you, Mr. President. The number the U is requesting is a large amount. We're not giving them the entire amount here, but they are a major institution. They are a major university. They are an economic engine for our state. He wasn't a constituent of mine, but he used to live in my district and went to the U, graduated from the U, I believe in engineering, and continued to work at the U and started a little company in a garage in my district. He started Medtronics. The U is creating future Medtronics. They are training our doctors, they are training our veterinarians, they are doing testing they're testing about 1,800 birds a week at the Wilmer facility on bird flu. They are a major resource for our state. So of course they have a large ask, but they also help the state. And what this bill does is it does provide services to students. It provides safety. It gives their parents from your districts a peace of mind that they are safe when they are leaving campus and class at 9:30 at night. Many of them do take buses, many of them do bike in my area, and so they want to feel safe. They have asked for this additional lighting, they have asked for these call buttons, and I think this is what we can do. Again, we have heard about how important safety is and public safety is in this body. The Minneapolis campus of the University of Minnesota has their own police force. They partner with Minneapolis, but as we've all heard, both Minneapolis and St. Paul are short officers. So both the Minneapolis campus and the St. Paul campus, when they are dealing with situations, they are working with Minneapolis and St. Paul police officers we are short officers. We hear we're short officers. There's money in this bill for more training for more officers. So this is about providing that safety and that peace of mind for those parents, so I ask for a green vote.
Senator Rarick.
Thank you, Mr. President. And to that point about officers, the University of Minnesota has long operated in cooperation with the Minneapolis Police Department, and that is exactly why we're increasing the funding to get more people to go to school to become law enforcement officers. We believe it is far more appropriate for Minneapolis to be employing the officers rather than for the University of Minnesota, and they can continue that partnership. And that is where we were going with this and why we want to see more people getting into law enforcement. And instead of seeing the University of Minnesota competing with other agencies for law enforcement officers, they should be cooperating with our current law enforcement agencies.
Senator Johnson Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to emphasize again what Senator Dziedzic is talking about. Much of the money included in their request would in fact support not just officers, but support personnel, panic buttons, those kinds of things that we wouldn't really, I wouldn't consider to be capital investment. And I also want to just state again, the University of Minnesota is not just Minneapolis, St. Paul, West Bank campus. It is Duluth, it is Crookston, it is Morris, and it is Rochester. And my daughter went to Duluth. I worried about her every single time. She was working late. I'm sure others with children at these campuses have the same concerns. So whether we're talking about our children, our faculty, the thousands of people who work at the university just as staff, custodians, support staff, et cetera. I think this is an important investment, and I very much would encourage everybody, regardless of your party affiliation, but everybody who values the University of Minnesota and the products and its people to vote yes. Thank you, Senator Dziedzic, for proposing this, and thank you, Mr.
Senator Dziedzic.
Thank you, Mr. President. I stand in opposition of the A50 amendment, taking the money from the Learn to Earn program. This is a joint venture between the whole community, the high school, the Riverland Technical College, and many, many businesses that have worked very hard for this program. In fact, right now, the new high school is being built in Otana. a local federated insurance has donated $20 million to a high school. I would ask any community to match that. That's a great investment in the community. President Moholtra has talked about how a community college should be the catalyst of the community. What this will do will allow investment in the high school to get people engaged, to retool to meet the workforce needs in Owatonna. So to take it out of this bill, I do not stand in favor. So thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Dziedzic.
Thank you, Mr. President. This will be the last time on this issue. And Senator Dziedzic, as I said, I support learn-to-earn programs, but there were other learn-to-earn programs also that in bills that are not funded in this bill or the jobs bill, and so I think they do great work, but I think they should be funded, all of them should be funded, because all of our kids need those types of programs, and they should be funded in the jobs bill. So again, thank you, and I urge a green vote on this amendment.
Senator Ingebretson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Would the author of the bill, Senator Rarick, stand for a question?
Senator Rarick will yield. Senator Ingebretson.
Thank you, Mr. President. And Senator Rarick, Subdivision 3 Skills Path and Grant Program. Can you explain that a little bit better to me than what it says in the bill here? I'm not on the committee, so I'm not quite understanding what that is. Because I think part of her amendment, if I'm correct here, is taking that money and putting it towards public safety.
Senator Rarick.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Ingebretson, this is a provision looking to help encourage schools to invest so that students have the ability to get into, whether it's manufacturing, construction, at the high school level, to be exposed to those trades. So they think about that and get the training they need if they want to move in that direction. I know we have that right now currently in another form, and they can get high school credit. This is looking to not just expand on it, but this is more geared at helping schools tool up and provide the program in the skills youth training.
Senator Ingebretson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for that. Senator Dziedzic, would Senator Dziedzic yield?
She will yield. Senator Ingebretson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator, obviously, I think you're hitting the button of public safety here today and on the universities. And I'm wondering, because I know part of the university is certainly in your district, and I'm wondering, do you have any crime stats at all that you could share with us? I don't know if I've seen any just on the university, on the campuses at all, if that's been on an increase like it has been off campus.
Senator Dziedzic.
Thank you, Senator Ingebretson, for that question. I know, I can look the stats up very quickly. I know some of the area that is often overlapped between the U and the 2nd Precinct in my district, there has been an uptick. Marcy Holmes neighborhood, Dinkintown neighborhood, and on the U campus there's been an uptick. And part of the reasoning is because criminals now know that students have expensive iPhones, they have iPads, and cell phones, and so they have become a target in more recent years. And they are also know that they are late at night out walking around because they are taking the bus or biking in my district to or from campus. And so I can look them up and share them with you, but there has been a slight uptick.